Good morning, 12th grade. We are on our Thursday final day of remote learning for this week, and we're finishing up with episode 1 from the podcast Serial. Today, we're just focusing on our reflection piece and making sure that we're writing a reflection that shows that we're thinking deeply about the content that we listen to and not just summarizing the content that we listen to. So our focus objective, I can review episode 1 and class discussion to produce a reflective response. Emphasis on that word reflective. So this morning, if you're part of our live session, we're going to be having a conversation that is really an extension of the conversation that we started yesterday, having had listened to episode 1 of the podcast. Today, what you want to do is not only use your own reflection from what you think and understand about episode 1, but really the conversation that we had during our live session to help you build a really, really reflective response. So on Saturday night, latest, I need you to submit episode 1 worksheet via Google Classroom, which has been posted since Wednesday. Those 1 through 9 questions should already at this point kind of be done because the intention was that you were working through the questions as you listened, and you really should just be left with reflection question, which is the last one, number 10. So what does it mean when you're writing a reflective response? When you're being reflective in your writing, you're tracking and documenting your experiences, your opinions, your reactions to the information that you've been given. You're communicating to me, the reader, what your thoughts and your feelings are. It's a way for you to explore your learning, gain some self-knowledge, and also clarify what you've learned and what you've now heard in a different way, right? Instead of just talking about the podcast, now it's kind of like you're dumping all of these ideas and thoughts into some sort of written response. So I just want to be really clear about something. It is not a summary of the episode. It's not absent of deeper thinking. It's not absent of making connections to other pieces and other parts of our conversation. And this is not just, let me type a couple things really fast and push submit so I get credit. I'm really, really looking to see what your thinking is in this part of the response. So it should be longer and it should be thoughtful, okay? I've posted again this episode link, so if you need to get back in and you haven't been able to locate the slides for whatever reason, you have the access and the ways to listen here. I also want to point out this component inside of the slide. This is an overview or a summary or like a gist. I don't want a recap of the events that happened or a summary of the events that happened, because that's something I can type onto the web and read a summary of myself. What I can't type into the web and find is what's inside of your brain, right? What are the things that you're thinking, reacting, responding to, having listened to this first episode? And there's a lot of different pieces that you might want to include. So don't feel like you have to, put in every single thought you had and every single reaction you had. You can just focus on one component or 1 or 2 components of the episode of the podcast that really hit home with you. And you can just discuss those in your reflective response. If for some reason the response is not up to the rubric, which is attached, we can have a different conversation about that, but use the rubric to guide your thinking and be as much of yourself as you can on the paper, okay? So I'm really looking forward to reading what your responses are. I'm looking forward to see what connections you make and what parts of our Google Meet conversations you pull into your responses and what things you connect to outside of, our virtual class setting. If you have any questions, let me know, shoot me an email. Please make sure that all of this work is submitted to me by Saturday. I believe and feel that that's ample time. If you're having an issue with your deadlines, please communicate with me. It's the most important thing. Communicate with me. Let me know where you're at so I can best support you. Okay, guys, thanks.